Hey everyone, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. So today is just going to be a video of three Korean comics that have to do with the medical type of genre where the main character is a doctor, or he basically just he is a doctor whether he is officially one or not. It's essentially what these stories have in common is usually like a doctor from a previous life, or a doctor or a resident student is either dies or is just, I'm pretty sure dies, and then transmigrates into another world and becomes basically a doctor in that world as well. But this is just gonna be a quick video of three must reads for this for the medical type genre. And it's gonna go in order of what I think is what I think is like the how they rank compared to one another. So starting off, the third would be the holy power of medicine, or to hell with being a saint, I'm a doctor. Essentially, he uh, gets put into another world after he gets into a car crash, and then he uses the power of medicine, which people in this world think of him as like a saint, because only saints have the power to heal people or do the you know healing type of thing that he does. Whereas basically he just uses modern like surgeries and stuff like that in a fantasy world where people are just think that everything revolves around magic and mana and whatnot. Um, Overall, I think the story is pretty decent. It starts off pretty good. Over time, it does slowly start to feel like it's dragging out. The art's pretty good. It does have an official translation you can read on, so the translation is pretty good. But overall, I think it's a solid story. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. It is completed as well, so this is one you don't have to wait for new chapters every week, or if you're worried about not finishing the story, the comic is finished, so you don't have to worry about that. Second would be The Divine Surgeon. I'm currently rereading this one, um, as it's honestly one of my top 10 uh, manhwa just in general. But essentially, this is a resident doctor, or a doctor who's in his residency, and gets t- he dies, and then he goes back in time, essentially like he reincarnates into a story that basically revolves around way like deep into the past. Essentially, like he basically, in a world where there's just essentially nothing, he takes care and like he tries to save as many people as possible. Essentially, the time period he goes back into, a lot of the diseases, or like surgical procedures that he does, nobody's even heard of, or the diseases that he's able to cure people of were deemed incurable, such as like syphilis and stuff like that. um but overall, I'd give the story an 8 out of 10. The art's pretty simple, but I feel like it doesn't, like, that's exactly what it needed. Like, it didn't need to be like overly flashy. It didn't need to be super detailed and whatnot. Like, it is super detailed when he's doing like the medical procedures, but outside of that, everything's pretty simple, pretty good. In this one, there's not like any magic or anything, but it is like a hint of martial arts. Like, he uses like and he does also have a system to, but it's not like an overly used system. Essentially, it's just he uses the system to help him treat patients better. And the martial arts is mainly just as a way to defend himself. So overall, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I'd say the story's pretty good, the art's pretty good, and it is definitely just an overall pretty good read. And then the third one and last one would be Doctor Live Again, or Doctor's Rebirth. Um, this is definitely, if not it is one of the best medical manhwas out there, in my opinion. Essentially, this is about a doctor who gets overworked and to the point where he dies, and then he reincarnates into another world, and he immediately, when he wakes up, there's people that he wants to, like, there's injured people around him, people that are dying, and he instantly goes to save them. He's reincarnated into a book he read in his previous life, so he essentially knows like characters and like what'll happen in the future as well. So he just basically uses that knowledge to navigate this, as well as help him um, along with his doctor duties. But essentially, this is a story that's based in like Mirim as well. So it's heavily delves into martial arts. He uses martial arts to increase his strength, to protect himself, to protect others, but also to better treat patients. Like he uses martial arts to like suck up blood splatter, or um to like see inside of things, or they do that like thing where they send the key into someone else's body and they can sense everything in it. But this one is heavily delves into martial arts. But it's essentially just a martial arts manhwa with a doctor main character. Um, but yeah, that'll be those three. Those are the top three medical manhwas in my opinion. There's plenty more out there. There's a lot of new ones that I haven't read yet that I plan to read, but as of right now, those would be my top three. But yeah, that'll be it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.